You know, picking a web framework is one of the most critical calls a technology leader can make. It's not just about code, it's really a bet on your company's future. And with 2026 just around the corner, we're going to break down two of the heavyweights, React and Blazor.
So, you might be thinking, isn't this just a tech debate for developers? Absolutely not. This choice directly impacts how fast you can innovate, how secure your products are, and what your total cost of ownership is going to look like. It's a core business decision, just disguised as a tech choice.
Okay, so here's how we're going to tackle this. First, we'll set the stage for why this choice is a bigger deal now than ever before. Then we'll properly introduce our two contenders, Blazor and React. After that, we'll get into the weeds on their architecture, look at the real-world impact on performance and price, and then wrap it all up by helping you make that final call.
So why the big focus on 2026? Well, it's because the web development game has completely changed. I mean, the assumptions we all made just a few years ago, they just don't apply anymore. The ground has literally shifted beneath our feet.
Think about it. A few years ago, this comparison would have been kind of one-sided. But today, WebAssembly is a real production-ready thing. And that gives Blazor an incredibly powerful way to run code right in the browser. At the very same time, React has made this huge shift towards server-first architectures. These two things, these massive shifts, are exactly why this decision is so critical for the next 5 years.
All right, let's get properly acquainted with the two frameworks at the heart of all this.
First up, we've got Blazor, straight from Microsoft. The easiest way to think about it is as the unified solution. It lets your developers build interactive websites using C# and the .NET platform, the stuff they probably already know and love. Now, for companies that are deep in the Microsoft world, this is a huge deal. One language, one skill set for both the front end and the back end.
And then there's React. This is the reigning champ of the JavaScript world. Originally from Facebook, now Meta. It's not a full-blown framework like Blazor, it's actually a library that's laser-focused on one thing, building user interfaces. But its real power? That comes from its massive, vibrant, open-source ecosystem that gives you a tool for pretty much any problem you could ever dream up.
This slide right here, this gets to the absolute heart of it. On one side, you have Blazor. It's all about a unified, controlled, and consistent environment. Think of it like a well-defended castle. And on the other side, you've got React, which is all about a flexible, adaptable, sprawling ecosystem, more like a dynamic, citywide electrical grid. This theme, control versus flexibility, is the key to understanding this entire debate.
Okay, let's dig a little deeper now and see how this core difference in philosophy actually plays out in their fundamental architecture.
This table really breaks it down nicely. With Blazor, you're all in on C# and .NET, which really simplifies your tech stack. With React, you're in the JavaScript world, and that gives you access to a massive global talent pool. But look at the execution difference. Blazor runs C# directly in the browser with WebAssembly, or on the server. React lives in the good old JavaScript runtime. And finally, the ecosystem. Blazor's is driven by Microsoft, while React's is driven by the community.
So how does this actually work? Well, with Blazor, you're either shipping the whole .NET runtime to the browser to run your code, or you're keeping all the logic on the server and just streaming the UI changes. React's approach is totally different. It uses this clever process called reconciliation, where it creates a virtual version of the UI, compares it to what's really on the screen, and then only makes the absolute minimum changes necessary. The key takeaway is this: Blazor gives you runtime consistency, while React is all about rendering flexibility.
Okay, enough theory. How does this architectural split actually impact the stuff your business really cares about? I'm talking about speed, hiring, and the bottom line.
Let's talk about first impressions. How fast the page loads. A Blazor WebAssembly app has to download the .NET runtime, which can mean a kind of heavy first download for the user. Its server model is faster on that front, but it depends on a good network connection. React apps, on the other hand, usually start out smaller, and with modern tricks like server-side rendering, they can feel incredibly fast from the very first click.
But here's the thing that gets lost in all these debates. It's not about which framework is faster in some lab test. Real-world performance, the kind your users actually feel, comes down to the architectural choices your team makes right at the beginning. Picking the right execution model for your specific app is way more important than any raw benchmark.
Now this chart, this tells a huge story, and it's one of the biggest factors for your business: people. The global talent pool for JavaScript and React developers is just immense. I mean, look at that bar. That makes hiring faster and often more competitive. The pool for skilled Blazor and .NET developers is definitely strong, but it is, as you can see, significantly smaller. And that's a key strategic point to consider. And finally, let's talk money. Not just the cost to build the thing, but the total cost to own and maintain it over years. For a company that's already a .NET shop, Blazor can be super cost-effective. You're just reusing the same skills, the same tools, the same people. With React, building it might be quick, but the long-term cost can sneak up on you as you manage the complexity of that giant ecosystem and all its third-party parts.
All right, let's bring it all together. We've looked at the philosophy, the architecture, and the business impact. Now it's time to get down to brass tacks and give you some clear guidance for making that final call.
So you should be leaning towards Blazor if your company is already a .NET powerhouse. It's a fantastic choice for building those complex, data-heavy internal tools, the enterprise portals. If high security, compliance, and predictable, controlled upgrades are at the top of your list, Blazor's unified approach is basically designed for that long-term stability.
On the other hand, React is your go-to if your main goal is pure speed. Need to get a customer-facing app to market fast? React's ecosystem is built for exactly that. If tapping into that huge global talent pool is a strategic advantage for you, or if you know you'll need a mobile app down the line with React Native, then React is the clear winner here. It's for teams that want flexibility and want to tap into a world of innovation.
So here's the verdict in plain business terms. React is your choice for speed and agility. It lets you respond to the market fast. Blazor is your choice for predictability and control. It offers potentially lower long-term costs and tighter security, especially if you're already living in the Microsoft world. Ultimately, the decision really boils down to this one question. It's not about which tech is better on paper, it's about which philosophy fits your business goals. Is it the managed complexity and endless flexibility of an open ecosystem, or is it the integrated control and security of a unified stack? That's the real choice. Which one are you going to bet your future on?